Look over here. 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 Look over here.
Hello guys, nice to meet you. Yes. I changed my translation module and I hope it would be much better now. Yes. I think you
Look
can
over
see
here.
it already. Yep. Well, I want to finish Luke's story today on my stream in Wuthering Waves. I'm started a bit. But just the most beginning. Hello, my lovely Ash support. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You know that Ash attacks can slow Olaf in his ultimate. Well, it didn't translate the most important part. Sorry. Okay. But I still think it's much better than on the last stream. Okay, Rasta, today it seems like today you are my only viewer. Nice. Okay, I think I will. I'm gonna just. Well, firstly, I'm gonna finish my dailies. What? Oh, hello, Hiderica. Hidorik. And then I would start Luke quest. I'm your only viewer. For years I've been creating the illusion that many people are watching you, but it was just me. I'm going to write this message from all my accounts now. Okay. You got me. I'm really happy to know that I have at least one viewer. Some time ago, no, it's better to say that a long time ago, I watched some VTubers tutorials. Yes.
Roving among the stars. You can count on me.
I feel okay. And
Drive safe.
they said me
Special delivery.
that people are not numbers. And when I feel and when I was feeling sad because of low numbers, or low viewers and followers, I always say that phrase: people are not numbers. And it makes me feel much better.
Gotta go fast. Shake it up. I'm just getting started. Yeah. Woo! One more. Hey, where's the fire? Whirling up. System integration complete.
Well, I guess the game it's too loud actually. Yes, yes, yes. I think the same. I'm gonna change it now. Yes, I think I will change it. Well, my cat is with me. Ah, please. Oh! A tractor, not a cat. A tractor. Sound effect volume. I think it's gonna be okay right now. Let's try it. Yes. I think I still have some stamina to spend. Let's kill some bosses
Power
for materials.
Precision
The incision has to be clean. Don't want to mess for suturing.
Understood. I am here to serve your will.
Thanks. There would be so a lot of gorgeous characters that I would like to get, like Hiyuki and Denya. The promos are so beautiful. I like them a lot. I also don't have any glacial damage dealers, so I really need to get Hiyuki. Actually, now it translates names really good, I think. I heard you, Rasta.
Shake it up.
Do you really want it?
I call the shots. Yo, special delivery goes boom. Master authorizing maximum output.
After your words, I think that I want to
Locked in.
pick Ash for every
Attack
game.
confirmed.
If you liked her so
Processing
much.
complete.
Oh, hello, Racy.
From
Hello,
the sky.
Racy.
Starlight over the
Really
sea.
happy to see you.
Scorch through the void.
I'm sorry that we weren't
Stars
able to
shine
play
tonight.
yesterday because of internet troubles.
Come on.
Break apart.
Enter the ghost. Smile.
Sparks. Ignite the world.
I'm okay, just a bit sleepy because I played a support Ash at night. Yes. Well, I also have to hide my tail. Sorry. Please, go out. Okay. It doesn't work here. Yep. No, okay. I have to switch. Why? Wait, okay, okay. Yeah, I did. Well, actually, I like your idea a lot. I should suggest this to Bimchik. I think we would be ideal bot. Ideal bot team. No, Rasta, I want you to have a challenge. It's not interesting to play good then. Well, okay. Oh, some nice events. Oh, also I didn't finish Sigrika tutorial. Let's look on her.
The room.
Okay. What does she do? Oh, nice. Her attacks are really quick. Oh. That's her ultimate attack. Okay. She uses I forgot their names, but they are special.
You're gonna remember this.
How to name them?
Greet my friend.
Special fluffy things that are part of Extra Strider, actually.
Climb. Detonate.
Do you? I don't understand, Racy. Like, do you ask if Dimchik is Chunguk? What? No, Rasta, you would be okay, because I know that you have a strong mentality. The mentality of a winner, right? Right. Yeah. Oh, my man. the character, the actual reason I returned to the Wuthering Waves. My man.
Mandate calls. Judgment fall. Mandate calls. Judgment falls. Winds howling.
Like, do you see him? He's a literal aura farmer.
Nothing that won't heal. Let's not linger.
Yeah. Hop.
Break like bamboo. Faints demand restraint. Your life is mine to take.
No! Not Hasagi! No Hasagi in my life! Only blind masters of the sword. Yep. You see, like, he's too cool. I get you. Yes. I like that idea even more. To become bot idols with beam chick. We're gonna support all. Actually, I think that we are a perfect team. Really. After the phase lane, we both gonna be like 0 kills, 15 deaths. Why? Why would you ask? It's because we're just gonna sing some songs and dance. What else I can do? Okay. Oh, I think it's actually a mini game that is collaboration. This some rhythm game. I forgot the name.
Roving among the stars.
I just wanna check it. Okay, I can't skip it. Wait, yeah, no, it's Tetris. It's not the one actually thought about. Well, I will think for... Let me think. I hope that he would never actually become a streamer. So there won't be any chance for this kind of collaboration. Oh well, seems like my translator just died. Okay. Are you good? Mr. Translator, are you good? Oh yes. It seems like he started to translate everything it skipped. What I'm doing right now? I think I lose. I think I'm losing. Oh, no, no, no. There's still a chance. Okay. I think every Tetris player who would see it would be afraid of me. Of the way I'm thinking, actually. Because I'm playing this game really strange, I think. Oh. Actually, it's really... this game is really relaxing, I think. Yeah. I have a feeling that I can play this forever. Oh, I lost. Well. Game says game says I'm too stupid to play this forever. Yay! The last level, and I'm gonna play Luuk quest. I promise. Thank you for follow. Okay, let's go. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Okay. It should be here. Hi.
can count on
I'm
me.
fine, but a bit sleepy. Wait. No. No fight with bosses. Please let me go. It seems I can't go away without fighting this boss. Thank you very much for your compliments.
That's all you've got?
It should be fast.
Tie a bow and call that my signature.
Well, game is a bit laggy. Settings are already very low.
I'm just getting started. Marked! One more. Assuming master control. Authorizing maximum output. Whirling up. Ow! Feather drones assemble. Come on.
Well, it took me a whole year, yes, of waiting for this avatar, but I also have some special
Warning. Insufficient power
adjustments
supply.
like wait, I'm gonna show it, like a crown or tail. Yes, this one.
Running self-diagnosis.
I think I waited for a model for 3 months, I think, and after it, I think I waited for a rig for this for 6 months. Yes. Or maybe even longer, because the waiting line was very long. Yes. I'm really happy. I'm really grateful
detected.
for the people who helped me to my English is so bad, sorry. For my rigger and art to make it look so beautiful. Yes, I'm really grateful to them.
Drive safe.
I just wanna skip it. Oh, I was able to fast travel to this thing all this time. Okay. Cook? What do you mean? Hi, Gulman. Happy to see you.
Gotta go fast.
Gulman, are you happy that people agreed for you to come to our party?
Gotta go fast.
Ah. Mm. No. This translation model is too big for my computer. Guys, you're so funny. I like you a lot. I'm still testing translation models, sorry about that. Okay, let's try this one.
Leave them to me.
Yeah,
Let's
a
not
doctor.
waste any more time. I am the vessel. Accurate prediction. Shame. Just one misstep. Rise anew.
I really like his animations.
Blink, and agony ends. The Exostrider's sword emits a unique frequency. It shields my workspace from most long-range detection methods.
Oh,
You picked a good spot.
Thank you, Racy, for your support. I'm trying my best. Luke Harrison.
Quite a stash.
Oh.
This is what a secret room is about.
Okay,
Now,
secret room,
where
and we are here alone.
Start with the conclusion before we get into all the details. You asked me to come to Lahai Roy to watch for any Fraxidus activity.
Only the two of us.
Warren was the first Fraxidus mole you uncovered, and he certainly won't be the last. Think of the Space Trek Collective as a web of competing powers. It's as much a haven for independence as a playground for agendas. An isolated polar region, rich with exoswarm and the potential for technological breakthrough. Lahai Roy is a gold mine, even for the Fraxidus.
Wrong
You're
Rasta.
saying
It should
the
be
fall of Helios
more
wasn't their
horny.
real goal?
It was one of 7. After your journey in Huanglong and Renacida, I'm sure you've come to realize their true aim.
The Trinodian. Aleph 1.
Correct. Given the Trinodian's unique nature, it's sure to catch their attention. Moreover, Aleph 1 is closely linked to the Strider Gate, which may be our ticket to outer space.
Spying on the Fraxidus is risky. Why would I have chosen you for this task?
Well,
Oh,
that is a
he's
bit of a
our
long
spy.
story. You've always preferred to see things for yourself. Please, follow me to that table.
Follow me to that table. What are we gonna do on that table? No horny, no horny, or more horny. I can be no horny with that man. Actually, a really nice place. I like it. Wait. Why it does have a hole? Never mind. It's still beautiful. Okay. Uh-huh. You examine the transparent container, which appears to have some kind of liquid inside. There is a golden hue quietly contained inside. Okay. You realize it looks identical to the blood that flowed from Luke's hand during your fight in the space station. Yeah, my man has a golden blood.
The golden serum, developed by the Naviale group. I prefer its other name, Ichor. My father started it as a medication for rare diseases, but as research progressed, it came to represent something far more ambitious. The drug of evolution.
Evolution. Sounds like something the Fraxidus would like.
Well, on paper it worked. I became its resonator, so it would be unfair to say it was entirely useless. But I was a rare case who survived. All it cost me was excruciating pain and my colored vision. Most test subjects like me didn't make it. It wasn't until I met you that I realized there was more to the story. The rest is in my study, shall we?
His story is really sad. Oh, aquarium! A lot of jellyfishes. I should say he has a taste. Or is it his family? The picture is a child's drawing of a family rendered in simple, earnest lines. A father and an older and younger brother, each one wearing a big happy smile. Oh. On the back of the framed picture, a scribbled note reads, "Always happy, Rain Harrison." It must have been drawn years ago, but the frame is carefully preserved and shows little wear.
My brother Ryan drew this picture. Not related by blood. Father took us both in after his own children passed away from a rare illness long ago. Ryan never could handle pain.
He's
He was
adopted.
easy to cheer up. Whenever the grown-ups would give me candy, I'd save it all for him.
So that's why he always has candy with him.
For a while, I tried to be the perfect son Father wanted.
So that's why he always has candy with him.
This line is so funny. Like this doctor always has a candy for little children, you know? It's really suspicious, I think. Sorry, I had a message.
It only got worse from there. What Father tried to do to Ryan was unforgivable. And then came that accident. I thought what my father did was a rather mundane story. A cliché. Someone trying to atone for past guilt, only to cause greater harm. Until your hints made me suspect it was someone's staged finale. So I had my father's grave exhumed. It was empty.
Well. Well. He was through a lot of pain. I had another message, sorry. Sorry. I'm a busy lady, you know? Everyone needs my attention. Let's see. Okay. Sorry. I'm here. Okay. You examined the burn page. Many parts of it are illegible due to the burns. It appears to have been salvaged from a fire. Okay. Judging by the legible contents, it's a report. It mentions Lahai Roy and Void Matter, and was originally destined for the new Federation. At the bottom of the report, you find a signature, the Fractitude's insignia.
The entire Lola logistics carrier was already blown to smithereens by the time I recovered this page. I managed a quick glimpse before the fire consumed most of the page. It is a report from an overseer.
A Fraxidus Overseer's report on its way to the new Federation?
Yes. Tucked away in a Lola logistics delivery box. The recipient is Eris in the new Federation.
Those 3 items you just showed me. Did the Fraxidus get into Naviale's work after learning about the Icar's potential for evolution?
They didn't just get into our work. They went a step further. Replacement. Have you ever met the Fraxidus' Grand Architect?
The thousand-faced survivor. We met near the Styx Lake, deep within the Dark Tide. Wait. Does this mean your father was...
Yes. My father was just another face the Grand Architect borrowed. Though looking back now, I can't recall the moment the real him was taken. I think the Grand Architect sees life and death as a game. I wouldn't be surprised if Father was even smiling in his coffin as we buried him in that downpour. So, that's your answer. Why did you choose me? Because I have a very personal reason to go after the Fraxidus. Hatred.
Hatred. Even now?
Now,
His story
it
is
has
very
become
tragical
something of
too.
a habit. Continue this train of investigation and you'll see for yourself what they are. But before you do, there's something I should share. My friends in the Black Shores told me you've already had a few run-ins with certain overseers. Is that right?
3. Cristoforo, Frolova, and Scar. Plus the Grand Architect you mentioned.
Ah, those names do ring a bell. Frolova is codenamed Hecate. Cristoforo?
Hecate.
Arachnos.
Arachnos.
Intriguing, isn't it? The flair they have for their own branding. But it's a telling detail. The codename can reveal its owner's style, personal tastes, and even ambitions. Think about it. A powerful resonator who causes chaos at random leaves no trail to follow. But give them a preference, a pattern. They can start to build a profile from the pieces. I've been compiling reports on the Overseers for years. Allow me to share what I've learned so far. I've reactivated your access. You'll find the door controls right over there.
Show me everything. Actually, I'm not sure if there are any characters whose story is not tragical. Well, let's see.
Let me be there for everyone.
Well, he is adopted, who was an experimental
The incision has
subject.
to be clean. One less for suturing.
She lost her parents
laser
and
sword.
gave her life to save humanity.
Pretty cool, right?
Power levels. Precision
She
calibration.
doesn't have legs.
Combat efficiency.
Well, only
All
artificial ones.
Got a long bucket list. Good thing I've got
She
time to check
escaped
every
New
box.
Federation and took another personality. Well, she stuck
Scissors at the ready.
in different realm for 30 years.
Your call. I'm ready.
He too has a really tragic story. Well, at least he's blind, you know. Well, she lost all her family, all her close ones, and also she became half human, as I remember.
Understood. I am here to serve your will.
She's kinda an android, I think. Yes, it's tragical vibes. Tragical vibes. What? No waves, tragical vibes. Well, I think she is okay. I think her most problem is that she's longing for our character a lot.
The experiment begins.
I don't know his story.
May I pray for anything specific? For
She
you?
was
It
adopted
would be my honor.
by a dragon. Yes, and well, I think it's enough. Like she lost her parents too, and from a young age she had to be how to name that? Yes, a sentinel resonator. Yes.
The battlefield is dynamic. Do not let your guard down.
Well, I didn't finish his quest yet too, so I don't know his story. Well,
I see my way clear.
we have this guy from the start of the game, but we don't know anything about him. There weren't any story quests with him. We only know that this guy is from the New Federation.
Hopefully, we'll make new findings.
Well, I didn't finish her story quest too, but I think that she is the one who is actually okay. Like, no anything said about her.
Let me be there for everyone. As
Our
we
main
head toward
character
our
who
shared
is
future,
stuck
leaving the
in
past
this world.
behind.
I should try to smile more, you say? Like this?
Well, I don't know a lot about her too.
Make this quick. I have experiments underway.
Another day, and
I'll do my best.
Actually, think she's fine too. And
another day, another
she's
heroic
probably
me.
too. And I don't know much and well, sorry. I wanted to say that I don't know much about other characters. I didn't show. Well, Rasta, maybe you are right. Do you mean someone Well, I forgot this word even in Russian. Well, yeah, I remembered. Do you mean someone specific, Rasta? Maybe a main character of some trash gacha game who stuck with Sage support and show on me with 17 deaths. No way, no way. I think, actually, it should mean that you're a side character, you know? Maybe it's Sion Meat who is the main character. Like this kind of characters who lose everything, but in the end they win. Oh, another secret room. Let's go.
The Fraxidus is loosely organized. Most of its members have only undergone basic, artificially induced body modification. They're not terribly difficult to neutralize. But if you encounter artificers with more creative modifications, you're likely looking at the handiwork of Hydra. Hydra is their leading mind on human evolution and body modifications. Whoever they are, they often work in tandem with Siren. In other words, if you spot one, be on guard in case the other is lurking close by. Zashiki Warashi won't require much of your attention. This overseer primarily operates in Ashinohara, a region that's been largely destroyed by the Lament.
Ashinohara. I've heard of it somewhere before.
The girl we had in the infirmary for a while. Chisa, I remember. The city that trapped her, Onami, is part of Ashinohara. Now, on to two key pieces of the puzzle. I did say the Fraxidus was a loose organization, but even the most scattered cells still need funding to function. Remember that report from earlier? It's only a matter of time before you go to the new Federation. And based on the intel I've gathered, that's their most critical base of operations. And where you'll find Eris.
How critical? Do they operate in the open?
Not exactly, but in a place where money talks, they must have members in the highest echelons of government and business. Key members. Their foothold in the new Federation has given them immense leverage. With that endless stream of wealth, the Fraxidus operates with impunity across the planet. Speaking of which, Star Torch Academy is also heavily funded by the new Federation. To be blunt, they're the Space Trek Collective's single largest donor.
Eris, huh? Duly noted. I'm assuming the other key piece is the Grand Architect.
The Fraxidus Grand Architect. Their true name is unknown. They only appear through borrowed identities. Real people, legendary beings, and even the phantoms of the dead from others' memories. I did brush shoulders with them once. It was a shame. I had no idea at the time, and missed my shot. This pen was the only thing I brought back from that great fire. I have yet to decipher the lettering, but it shows one thing for sure. The Grand Architect has been around for a very, very long time. It's a pity you called me to the High Roy. Otherwise, I would have continued following that trail. But you always have a good reason, right?
You uncovered all this by yourself?
More or less. I did have some help along the way.
To get your hands on one of the Grand Architect's personal items, you did more than just follow a trail. You infiltrated them.
Playing along with them isn't that difficult once you get the hang of it. Like I said, they are a loose organization.
Knowing the Fraxidus, stealing all that intel on the Overseers is risky, no matter how loose they are. Each infiltration will only be more dangerous than the last. Luke, how can a doctor who doesn't value his own life save anyone else's?
You know, this is the second time you've said those words to me. They got away again.
Hello, Artie guys.
If I hadn't been so cautious, I could have taken care of them this time.
It's better than Nikki because
I should send today's findings to her. It's been 2 years. Suppose I'm due for a report. Good. You got the intel. Would have been a shame if I got myself killed for nothing. You want me to go to the High Roy? Why?
There's evidence of their activity in the High Roy. I need you to keep an eye on things. And frankly, you need a break.
such a man. Wow. What is with his face? Oh, oh. I am on fire. He is on fire. Let's be together. The art is so beautiful, actually. Like, I really think that the story of the Wuthering Waves is the most beautiful one. They do it in cinematic way. Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Now is not the right time.
You've already drawn enough attention. Do we really have to wait for you to get killed to decide it's the right time? How can a doctor save anyone else's life if he doesn't value his own? Keep pushing like this, and you'll be no different from them.
Not pulling any punches, are you?
Trust me, that's only the warm-up. The High Roy is a nice place, Luke. Bright, passionate students, beautiful snow. Perfect for slowing things down. Listen to me on this. Come. Listen to me on this. Come. Listen to me on this. Come. Listen to me on this. Come.
You get it. Just follow my commands, okay?
Very well. As you wish. So I've led a leisurely life in the High Roy ever since. No need to worry. I know my limits.
He's colorblind.
Let's set
Wow.
aside the Fraxidus for now.
My
We should
kitten.
discuss the Exostrider plan. But first, tell me what happened to you and Imeth in the Frostlands.
Yeah. Mr. Arctic Ice. Or should I call you Mr. Shithands?
I see. Imeth, she. No wonder you're in such a state.
I understand her reasons. She was fighting for her dream, for the High Roy in the only way she knew how. And I respect that. The fate she chose for herself. But I won't accept it. There's more I haven't tried. I'm not done fighting for her.
Of course. I wouldn't expect you to give up so easily. Now, about the Exostrider. It started with the Space Trek Collective finding a giant solid-skin root network in Bjartar Woods. They identified it as the lid, sealing the Strider Gate, so to speak. It keeps the Thernodians' fractured forms sealed on both sides of the Strider Gate. Break it, and these forms will reunite. That wouldn't just spell the High Roy's doomsday, but the entire world. But the Collective still yearned to open that gateway, to explore the unknown. So, they created the Synchronists. The idea was to use augmented resonance to amplify the Exostrider's power, hoping that would keep the Thernodians suppressed. But lately, the Thernodians' attacks on the seal have been increasing. I'm afraid the Fraxidus is also getting ready to make a move. With the reactor core returned, all you need now is a little patience. Wait for the Exostrider to awaken. Then we can focus on how to use it to find Imeth. You were a synchronist in the Academy once before. I'll speak with Lucilla about getting you piloting access.
Then I'll wait for your news, Luke.
Certainly, but our immediate priority should be the Fraxidus. I have a feeling they're planning to sabotage our plans for the Exostrider.
They are giving us so a lot of lore in his quest. I really like it.
Rover said she'd like to check on the Exostrider in the Frostlands before she left. Well, it could be a way to take her mind off things. Now then.
We're gonna play by him. Yo!
Is something the matter?
Oh,
Must you always assume the worst?
such a
Lucilla?
beautiful
Think I
director.
just called to chat?
I find that highly unlikely, Doctor. Let's skip the preamble. What?
Rover.
So this is about Imeth.
Would you like to be scolded by that beautiful mommy?
Sitting on our hands won't fix anything. And she was willing to open up. If a friend runs into trouble, I'll naturally step in to listen. Besides, what I have to share today benefits the Academy.
I
Could
would.
help us get ahead of a few potential issues.
Very well. Let's hear it then. Meet me at the Institute, the usual spot.
When I first ow, my tongue. I mean, when I first saw her, I thought she was kinda a witch.
Not now. I have to finish my thesis. After the paper's done. Oh, Dr. Harrison, it's good to see you.
Ethan, you looked fine not long ago. What happened to you?
He is much better than Locha.
My thesis, my spot at the...
Hold on. I recall you coming by the infirmary with good news earlier. Something about an institute professor recruiting you for your top marks? Is this the price you have to pay for that? Careful. You might get talked out of the job over health issues.
No, I will get that position at the institute. I'll crawl there if I have to. I'll come back from the dead if I die first.
Now you're just delirious. I know getting this opportunity wasn't easy. You can't exactly just ask for time off. Come by my office later. I'll write you a sick note. You can't run yourself like an exoswarm, thinking you'll recharge the moment the sun comes up. It's not how we humans work.
Thank you, Doctor. Good things are bound to come your way. This takes me back. I always got my best sleep passed out in your infirmary.
But actually, because he has a golden blood, I thought about Amphareus in Honkai Star Rail. Is it coincidence? I'm not sure.
Let's see here. Who's still... Ah, young Luke. What brings you to the Institute today?
Just here to discuss something with someone. How have your shifts been treating you these past few months?
Not bad. You know, these researchers, getting them in for a checkup is like pulling their teeth. I have to hunt them down myself. What do you say we grab a drink after my shift? The meal plans here are all nutritional efficiency. Taste like chewed up cardboard.
Of course. Why don't I show you that scout drone model I just finished while we're at it?
You work fast. You really do enjoy that sort of tinkering.
Taking things apart and putting them back together again is quite stress-relieving. It's a nice way to unwind after a day's work.
So, what do you say we sneak over to Rogan's place when we get a minute and liberate the cannon barrel from that precious bot of his? We can put it back after he's had a good meltdown.
I'd rather not be an accomplice to that. It's unethical. And I can't believe you're still holding a grudge over that fish he stewed behind your back.
I think they show. I think they are shown by this Luke daily life.
The path's clear.
Oh, Miss Director.
Have a seat, Doctor. Shame. I thought she would come with you.
She's been here before, but things are different now. I prefer not to have her tangled in the collective's trivial matters.
Fair enough. But I'm not like those stubborn old goats you're used to dealing with. I don't chase after...
She has a really big booba.
All I care about is Star Torch Academy. Now,
Legs, I see.
Give me the highlights, Dr. Harrison.
Long legs. They know what to show to us.
I understand. I'll keep a closer watch. As for piloting the Exostrider, if she's capable, that's fine by me. The Research Institute will see to the preparations. That said, we can't ignore the risks that come with opening the Strider Gate. I have someone in mind who could help. But first, let me have a quick word with her. The Threnodian concerns every one of us at Lahairoi. I'll handle the board as you've asked. You focus on her and the matters here on campus.
Thank you for understanding, Lucila. President.
Oh yes, she's president.
Our conversation went more smoothly than I expected. I thought you might think I had a hidden agenda. As a thank
Maybe
you,
she has a
careful from
hidden
candy.
agenda.
I'll pass. I'm well aware of your candy outreach program across campus. I've had my fill of sweets over the years.
Well, at least he tried.
As for what you said earlier, I've been here long enough to know exactly who you are.
Luke, don't
Thanks to
worry.
your efforts in
I will
uncovering
take
those
all of your
mobs,
candies.
The academy is safer, and we have far fewer headaches to worry about. What truly surprised us was your choice to stay all these years and become one of Lahairoi's steadfast guardians.
Oh, I'm just glad the president doesn't see me as some busybody.
You're the right kind of busybody. The kind we're happy to have.
A friend of mine sold me on this place. Went on and on about the beautiful snow and the bright, passionate students. Convinced me to come. But when I actually got here, nothing like the brochure she described. Turns out, 8 out of 10 staff members were planted here by different factions. Our students dream of reaching the stars, all while living in a gilded cage. Meanwhile, we have Roya dealing in exoswarm parts and colluding with new Federation smugglers. I know that these students aren't fools. They're the best minds from across the nations. If even I can see what's going on, how could they be blind to it? It's their ideals, their hope for the future that lets them endure the ugly realities of this place without becoming cynical. I only came to Lahairoi because a friend recommended it. But now...
Now you've grown to like it here, right?
I really like the way
Yes, same
he
as you,
thinks.
Madam President. An urgent transmission from Nana. If you'll excuse me.
Dr. Hurd said there was a break-in at the infirmary. Ivor is being kidnapped.
Whoa!
Previously detained. Warren.
What is your status? Are you severely damaged?
Thank you for follow.
No need to worry. Just need time to repair.
Understood. Prioritize damage control after this call. Notify the Academy's security department. It'll take time for them to respond. I'll go after Warren. Which direction did he take her?
Received message from the Academy. They're heading towards the Sky Arc space station in the Frostlands.
It's the Court of Savante space station she and I discovered before. I'm on my way. Warren has escaped. He's taken a student and is heading for one of the debris fields in the Frostlands.
What do you plan to do?
I'm going after him. I'd like you to set up a perimeter there to cut off his escape and prevent any further risks to the Academy.
You want me to secure a perimeter while you go in alone to handle Warren?
I have a hypothesis. One I'd like to verify by myself.
Very well. Your track record warrants it. Go, Dr. Herson. I'll expect good news.
Hello, you mean Zany banner? Let's check.
Nephora.
2 days? 2 days and there would be Zanny and Phoebe banner.
Now.
Привет, Рома.
The bath's clear.
I don't have any of these characters.
I know you've been here before. Take me to the data room. Now!
Oh, okay. I'll do anything you say.
They're heading deeper into the station. Is there someplace we haven't discovered yet?
A fight.
Right on schedule. Rise anew. Game over. Entombed in daybreak.
I really like the way he fights.
That's clear.
Oh. What's happened here?
The researchers the Academy stationed here. 2 with gunshot wounds, but still alive. And this
Oh,
one?
they're alive.
No vitals. Their bleeding stopped. I should keep going after Warren. The bath's clear. Right on schedule. Imbalance ends here. Huh. Gotcha. Accurate veins exposed.
I think that his voice actor actually made a really good work too.
The bath's clear. Spatial anomalies. Did someone reactivate the Skyarc system?
I'll get out of Lahai, Roy. Out of this cursed place.
It appears Warren's taken Nephora to the data room we visited earlier. The path is blocked. It's those error modules again. I should use the adapter.
Wait,
That's
wait.
clear.
I fell down. I really don't like any kind of platformers.
It's cleared.
I'm too bad
Gotta
at
keep
them.
moving.
Shiny place.
Almost there. Now,
A lot of light.
moment of truth.
Are we gonna fight him?
not a student, just like
Rasta,
you
you
asked.
should be joking.
So, you
Is it your
Where are
time?
Lahairoi was just a minor setback. I'm still useful. I still have work in the new Federation. I still... Stop hiding! Say something! You! That doctor who's always watching.
You've reached a dead end, Warren. Don't you see that?
Evil laugh.
It's your dead end!
Evil. Wait, it's evil, right? Evil laugh. Not love.
Skylark's data room. There must be a reason.
Okay.
Was that just impulse? Or perhaps...
It seems like my pronunciation is too bad, sorry.
Game over.
Game over.
Rot resected. Right on schedule. Entombed in daybreak.
Easy. Let's save our little girl.
Dr. Herson! Warren, is he?
He's only unconscious. Everything's okay, Navora. How are you feeling?
You know, Luke always has this kind of soft, suspicious smile.
It really hurts. I'm really scared.
Like, you know, it's not real.
It's okay. Don't force yourself to hold it in. After a shock like that, it's much better if you let it out. Keeping it bottled up is stressful in itself. Take your time. Tell me what happened when you're ready.
Okay. I'll try. I need a moment.
Then rest here for now. I'll go check on Warren.
I fell asleep on the hospital bed. When I woke up and opened my eyes, Warren was pointing a gun at my head.
Why? What did she done?
He was frantic. Grilled me non-stop about Skyark. And when he found out I'd been to the station before, he forced me to bring him.
No! Don't say me she's a traitor!
Those researchers by the door!
One of them didn't make it. The other two are still alive.
I see. As for what else happened,
Please,
I don't
just
remember.
don't dig this mistake.
That's alright. I've already formed a rough theory about his motives now. You should rest, Navora. We'll handle things from here.
No way. No!
Is that so? Then, Dr. Herson, care to share your theory?
Wait. No. Please. I really liked her character. But it seems like she is a bad girl. We have to punish her. Well.
Doctor.
Okay.
How mean. Is that any way to treat a student?
I'm afraid identity theft is not in the curriculum. Isn't that right? Grand Architect of the Fraxidus.
I'm surprised.
Since you insist on playing the student, I'll offer
This
a
was
lesson.
unexpected.
It takes two to play a game.
Yeah! Why there weren't any actual fight?
Played me for a fool, didn't you? I was going to kill you for a little one-on-one time with Rover. Shame.
Regrettable that you evaded
Haron.
what was meant for you.
But it's okay. Uncle Warren's dead. Nice and clean.
Being caught out in the open, and still he thought he could just vanish from the High Roy and get away with this fiasco. The naivety is remarkable.
Anyway, I got back what I wanted too, so I'm a happy girl.
On my way here, I kept wondering why you acted so quickly. Didn't fit your usual style of staying in character until the very end. Just as I thought. You were after this pen.
Ah, yes, my precious. I couldn't find it anywhere, so it was you who took it from me.
Everything because
This is
of the
first time
pen?
someone's taken something from me. Oh, I almost forgot to ask. When did you begin to suspect?
If you must know, my suspicions began to deepen during our last visit to the space station, when you feigned that injury. Your acting had been flawless, Grand Architect, but even you cannot mimic what you don't understand. Death itself. To an immortal like you, no matter how many times you die, it's just another lost identity. And I happen to have seen you die before.
Oh? Is this why you've had your eye on me all this time? Let me think. Whoops. Can't seem to remember. My bad. My real favorite things are the ones that are really old and far, far away. But you're something special, Dr. Herson. You're the first person in forever to ever come this close. Without you, the game in the High Roy would be so boring. So, you get prizes. And I promise, it's right up your alley. Now, for the first one. At the upcoming new solar celebration, among all the lovely students, stands a member of the Fraxidus. I'm so looking forward to that child's performance.
Telling us this doesn't do your spy any good.
But that's what makes it fun! It's a cat and mouse game. The mouse needs to know the cat is coming, or how else will it run fast enough on its little wheel?
It really feels like watching an anime.
To win, you just have to be the hunter. And if you do end up catching that child, that just proves they were useless anyway.
That was only the first. What's the next one?
The next prize is right here in this data room. You're so smart, Dr. Herson. I bet you've already figured it out, no? I had so much fun on this little trip to the Sky Arc. So, how did you feel seeing the etheric sea? Oh, home sweet home. Your faraway home. The one you can never, ever go back to. Meeting you there wasn't all for nothing. The look on your face was the sweetest treat. Let's be sure to have more fun like this in the future. Until next time, you two. I wish you a pleasant past, present, and future.
It was so cool.
You think we couldn't have stopped her here?
Yes. My goal was to gather intelligence, not apprehend the Fraxidus' grand architect. When we dug up my father's empty grave, I realized that it is no simple feat to find an immortal who leaves no trail. The grand architect may appear to act on a whim, but in my observation, that playfulness is just another layer of disguise. There's a purpose behind it. When Nana called earlier, something felt off. Warren is a researcher himself. Why would he need to take a student hostage to investigate a debris field? Even if he did, breaking into the infirmary and letting Nana send a distress call was a sloppy strategy. Of course I'd be the first person she contacted.
So that's why you called me afterwards. I did hear Navor say you had her in the infirmary all this time. You were keeping an eye on her then.
I was waiting for her to show her hand. Until then, it was all speculation. I needed to see her end the act to be sure. Immortal, 1,000 faces. We've managed to gather quite a bit of intel on the Grand Architect. If I'm not mistaken, there should be something more important hidden in this room. Otherwise, she wouldn't have called it a prize.
Okay, let's check that room.
These are personnel files from the Sky Arc space station. This lettering. Do you recall the lead researcher on the Etheric Sea Initiative? The one we saw in the hologram during our first visit?
Professor Junshi.
Yes. During his lecture, he mentioned a scholar who had just joined the project, Wei Ying, but his introduction was cut short. I've found that scholar's record in the system, and her name. The letters of this name are a perfect match with those engraved on that pen.
Are you saying that scholar is the Grand Architect?
According to these records, the Etheric Sea Initiative was stalled due to a lack of funding until she joined. Then, it was pushed back on track. Her involvement influenced the CSC's decision on this project. But everything else about her birthplace, employment history, or academic background is missing.
Sounds like another identity borrowed by the Grand Architect.
Indeed. It seems we've just traced this 1,000-faced individual back to an even earlier point in Solaris' history. These records also show Wei Ying took great interest in the CSC and Etheric Sea initiative during that period. That must be why she
Too
infiltrated
much
the
lore.
Skyark space station.
I can't.
The universe. What secrets is it hiding behind all those infinite stars? I really want to know.
And about that footage... No. No need to explain. The fewer people who know about your secret, the better. It just occurred to me that this wasn't a coincidence. If her goal in the past involved you, then it's something to keep in mind on your journey ahead.
The Etheric Sea. That might have been my entry point to Solaris after leaving my distant homeland. Wei Ying was interested in the Etheric Sea before its planet-wide spread. Did she want to use it as a medium to reach somewhere beyond? I will. Given her nature, it's only a matter of time before we meet again. The more she appears, the more she gives away. If she enjoys playing games, then it means she'll follow some rules at least. Otherwise, she'd die of
The
boredom.
story is very interesting. Even it's a bit complex for me.
Exactly. And as I've said before, sometimes style, personal taste, and ambition can be more revealing than intended. The Fraxidus has more than one base in Solaris, and I'm far from the only one with a grudge or an interest in their activities. Until now, the Grand Architect has been like a reflection in water. She never appears as her own person, only by the faces of the already dead. But now, her fascination with what lies beyond all those infinite stars is a thread we can pull. We can start identifying which schemes bear her signature. And the Court of Savante, since our Grand Architect has taken interest in them before, a trip to Mengzhou may be worth a visit.
Mengzhou.
The Court of Savante was active in Mengzhou?
Just a rumor. They say a city was built there under their direction. There may be clues there. As for the new Federation, you'll likely end up there eventually if you plan to counter the Fraxidus' operations in the future. But not now. Things are too complicated over there, and they handle resonators differently. Even with the Black Shore's backing, going in unprepared would be serious risk.
I'll be cautious. Before Navora, did you find any other traces of this Grand Architect in the High Roy?
Yes. There is this one thing, but it's only speculation. About how Imeth disappeared. From what you told me, she died from overclocking trying to stop the Threnodian over a decade ago. After that incident, the Academy detected cracks on the Threnodian seal in the depths of Biarter Woods. The damage seemed intentional.
These bastards killed our daughter.
I believe it was the Grand Architect who damaged the seal, and that led to Imeth's death. Lucila's people will handle things here now. We should leave.
To where?
Let's go clear our minds. You shouldn't sit with this alone.
Yes, we should sit with Luke together, only the two of us.
Any for your thoughts?
Penguins.
There's too many to count.
Feel like talking about it?
Maybe a little. I keep wondering if the choices I made in the past were the right ones. I still don't know why I chose to erase my memories. That one decision cost me my grip on everything. It made me leave so many people behind. You, Imeth, those at the Black Shores, and probably more I don't even know.
Why she never talks about Frolova?
I pulled everyone into my grand plan to save the world, and when it mattered most, I wasn't even there. If we can't save Imeth, she'll just be forgotten.
Beautiful soundtrack.
Left to drift in the void forever.
Even if that hadn't happened, your path was always destined to diverge from most of ours. You know your lifespan is immense. Barring some accident, most of us will leave this world long before you. Death and goodbyes are a final lesson no one escapes. But for you, it's a question that lingers for an exceptionally long time.
You're right.
Since you already know that, you should also see that everyone else has already given their answer. You're still the same person you were before. Just as resilient, still bringing hope to others. That's why, after all these years, we're still willing to stand with you. And it's not because you're a supposed savior. It's because you've always been you.
You know what? Hello, Konstantin. You know what is troubling me? It's the way she is dressed up. Like, doesn't she feels cold? 'Cause a lot of snow. It's snowing. You know?
And we're not just doing this for you. We're doing it for Solaris.
And she
The future we
barely
all
has
chose to
any
fight for.
clothes on her.
We chose this path ourselves. You have nothing to feel guilty for. One
Emotional
can only move
moment.
forward by making peace with what's lost. You taught me that a long time ago. In the end, I failed to find my father's murderer.
No, please don't cry.
Failed to protect Rhine.
My baby.
Failed to protect my own family.
Oh.
But your brother is still alive. You're alive. There's still hope. You did everything you could.
Who knows when I'll wake up next time.
Sad.
Then we'll make a promise, Luke. We'll see each other again next winter. You'll open your eyes, And I'll be standing right here. Just like today.
I really hate all promises this person made. Cause a lot of them she failed.
Come now. Enough with that face. Some candy?
What about another candy? Sorry.
You always carry candy with you. You sure they really work?
As in...
It'll help take the edge off and lighten the mood. Your words.
Ah, that. Honestly, not really. It's become more of a habit of mine. As a boy, I'd have one whenever things felt too big to handle. The sweetness was a distraction. Something to look forward to. Later, after I inherited Naviale, I realized there were still so many things I couldn't control. So I'd eat them to cope. Especially when I was up to my neck in trouble thanks to my business associates. Even after I left the company and set out to follow the Fraxidus' trail on my own, I'd be chewing on one while I watched those who helped me die right in front of me. Still powerless, it seems. So I've come to believe that no matter how strong a person becomes, not everything can be done perfectly. In life, many things are beyond our control.
My boy. Smapos? What? I said my boy.
But I still enjoy candy. It reminds me that meeting people is still a gift. Even if I know I might lose them one day. If you let grief and anger burn you out, you become obsessed with results. You forget the joy you felt along the way.
Yeah, sorry because of the low
The sweetness helps keep the numbness at bay.
It's because of the translator.
I'll have one of your candies.
Yes, I would like to have one special candy. Only for me.
How does it taste?
Luke?
Wait. I mean... Okay. This translator translated it wrong. I mean...
My chances of saving Imeth? They're pretty slim, aren't they?
They are. You'll need a miracle. But you've always been good at making those happen.
Thanks for the candy.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for the candy. Oh. We finished his quest. Yes. My man. What is he doing? Is he trying to wake up that animal? Okay, I think it would be already a secret quest, story quest. This one, I want to. Why speaking another language is so difficult? Ну, знаешь, Константин, мне кажется, кому надо, для кого надо, эта сцена была бы очень даже хорошей и нормальной. Вот. Ну, вообще, я бы съела все его конфеты. Я думаю, вы меня уже поняли, я об этом столько рассказала. Окей. What I wanted to say is that I'm gonna play Secret Quest on the next stream. Yes. In my schedule. So I would be waiting all of you for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna play. I'm gonna continue to play Stellar Blade, and I think Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yes, I think on Thursday I'm gonna continue to play Wuthering Waves. Yes. Or Gathering Wives, or Tragical Wives, whatever. So, thank all of you for your support, for your participation on my streams. Let's see tomorrow. Goodbye. I wish all of you a good day. Bye bye.